Hey Seeker, welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life by mastering the law of attraction. So cool. My name is Talia, and I'm committed to cutting the fluff and showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to crack the code on manifestation, amplify your intuition, and play in the quantum, we are now besties. Let's do this. Hey, welcome back to the show. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today we are going through the 5 most common blocks that I see that are sabotaging our manifesting efforts. So these are subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs, and they are the things that come in and literally feel like it's blocking you from moving forward, keeping you stuck in patterns, stuck in negative thought, and really just not manifesting the things that you want. So today, if you are somebody who is wanting to manifest more in your life, possibly more abundance, more joy, freedom, success, more love and connection, opportunity, travel, and just more fun, more good feelings, more confidence. So if you're wanting to do that, but you're feeling blocked, you're feeling like there's something in your way, it's because there is, and you're human and you're on a journey, you're doing a great job, and there's always areas where we can transform and heal in order to call in more. So this is something that I deal with, you deal with, we all deal with. And quickly, the reason why we all deal with it is because we are all human. And the way that our human brains have been created, the way that the ego has been developed, our brains are, its primary job is to keep you safe. So when we go to do big and bold things and we want to change our life and we want to shift out of these patterns that our brain is got really comfortable in, it'll start to create a bunch of stories. It'll start to create fears. It'll start to create resistance. And that's just simply because our brain is going, this is unknown. This could be scary. They're all going to laugh at you. So it makes up these stories about not being worthy, or it's too hard, or I don't have the money or time, or I'm not cut out for this, and a bunch of other stories we're going to get into. And it's just to keep you safe. Your brain is freaking out. Your ego is freaking out because you're calling in big things. You have big thoughts. You're making big changes. So it creates stories which then become blocks, energetic, subconscious, limiting belief blocks. So if that resonates with you, if you feel like this could be going on with you, then definitely today's episode is for you. I'm going to go through those 5 most common blocks that are sabotaging your efforts. And there's a lot of talk about blocks out there, and I don't like to think of it as like there's a million blocks blocking you from everything. That's not really the way it works, but there are a few stories on repeat, and this is what is blocking you. So through these 5, I'm sure that you will find possibly everything that is blocking you in one or more of these most common blocks that I see and that I have dealt with. So on that, I have definitely dealt with this. I continue to deal with this because I still have a human brain. I still have an ego. No matter how much success and happiness and manifestation I experience, there's always going to be fears. There's always going to be old stories creeping up, new stories creeping up. It's just what you signed up for. As a seeker, I know that this is what I've signed up for, is this continuous growth. It's never ending, right? So I have definitely dealt with this. And before I was aware of this information, of these blocks, of how resistance is created, I was just stuck in patterns of self-sabotage, of negative thought, of feeling just disempowered and yucky. I was trying to make big changes. I was even doing a lot of great things and reading a lot of great books about it. about manifestation and creating change and law of attraction. But I wasn't experiencing those shifts. Like there was little things and that was really good. And over time I was starting to feel better, but it wasn't quick and it wasn't easy and it felt like it was hard. And I remember just trying so hard. I was manifestation journaling and meditating and really trying to think positive and picture my dream life. But it just didn't feel easy. And I now know that's because there was resistance. There was things in my way. There were beliefs that were stopping me. And ever since I caught on to this, ever since I really realized what was happening, it is like a flow of water has just gushed out. It's like the tap has been turned on to miracles and flow and manifestation. It's literally like I've become unblocked, which is why I focus on this with people, because you can really change these blocks simply by being aware of it. And today I'm going to take you also through a process that you can use once you pinpoint the blocks, you can use this process to release it. And it's the exact process I use, the exact process I've used with clients. And if you actually want a little bit more after we go through this and you're craving a little bit more, I have a free guide and it's called Unblock Me. I'll put the link in the show notes. And it goes through these 5 blocks, but it also gives you mantras and crystals you can use depending on which blocks are getting in the way. And it also goes through this process more in depth of releasing it and exactly how to work your mantras and all of that. So if that interests you, it's a free guide and it'll be in the show notes. It's called Unblock Me. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive in. Before I get to the 5 blocks, I want to just very quickly explain the way that this works. There is a never-ending stream of wellness and happiness and flow and abundance and love available to you all the time. It comes from the universe, God's source, spirit, and it's flowing through us all the time. I want you to think for a second about nature. Nobody, no human, has to actually do anything for it all to magically work together, right? The grass and the plants are watered and the trees are growing and the sunlight is doing its photosynthesis thing. And we don't have to actually do anything. It's being moved. It's being pulled. It's a force running through it, right? It's nature. Us as humans, we come in and we tend to wreck it, but when we leave it alone, it flourishes. So that same flow, that same energy is moving through you. And it's a really cool example of that is when a baby is being created, in the mother, in the uterus, it is every week substantial changes happening, right? There's cartilage forming and organs being created and, digestion starting to happen or movement starting to happen. And the woman, I've had 3 kids, so when I'm pregnant, I don't have to actually do anything. That being said, of course, my body's doing a lot. But what I mean is I don't have to consciously focus on, okay, today we're forming the jawbone or today we're doing fingernails. It's just all being done. I just need to take care of myself, rest, honor my body, and it will do what it needs to do to create this baby. That's that exact same force as nature. The pine cone, the seed that's in the pine cone gets planted and fertilized and grows under the earth and spikes, through the ground one day and eventually will be a 300-foot cedar tree just by being left alone, by letting the powers that be, the magic unfold. And that's the same again as the baby inside you. If you just take care of yourself, it grows and forms inside you without you consciously having to force it, consciously having to tell it what to do. So this is the energy, right? This is the source. This is the flow of it all. And it's available to you at any time. It's running through you at any time. It's blinking your eyelids and beating your heart right now. And this flow is the same flow that carries to you miracles and abundance and well-being and love and miracles, right? So So it's available to you at any time. The problem is that we get in our own way and we end up blocking this flow, right? Because again, the flow carries success and coincidences and synchronicities and joy and health, like I mentioned. So we end up getting in our own way. And each day, our blocks and our resistance, it shows up in our life. It sabotages our good efforts, and it really just blocks us from the things that we're trying to call in. So if you know what law of attraction is, if you've heard my previous episodes or studied law of attraction, heard anyone talk about it, you know that when we are putting out desires and things that we want, we are attracting them to us at the same time because of law of attraction. So if we don't block that, it comes into our experience. That's how people can say, I manifested a dream home. I manifested exactly, this opportunity. Or personally for me, I've manifested $44,000 in one chunk down to like within $7 of what I was trying to call in. It's crazy. So if we don't get in our own way, we can create what we want. But this is the problem, is we get in our own way. We have these patterns, these beliefs, these ways that we block miracles, we block the flow. We block the joy, right? So it's natural to be happy. Manifestation occurs naturally when we sink into the flow and don't block ourselves. So if life feels hard, if we feel like we're not in the flow, if we feel like manifestation just takes forever and we keep just being in the same patterns, we've just got some blocks, we've just got some resistance, and it's all good. It's normal, it's human, and I'm going to help you learn how to release that. This whole podcast essentially has you get out of your own way and step into the flow so you can magically manifest. But today I'm going to give you 5 solid ways that we are blocking our own flow. So it's your time. If you've been led here, if you're attracting this information into your life, it means the universe is calling you to rise. The universe is calling you to see these things and meet them with love and, really be brave enough to move through what's blocking you and into your next level of growth, your next level of manifestation. So let's do this. We are going to go now through the 5 blocks. And then after that, I'm going to take you through the process that I've called the Unblock Me method. And it's like kind of like you identify the blocks and then what, right? So it's how to actually take this information and have it work for you. Have you able to get results today, results now in your life? Block number 1 is stories of lack. I'm just going to say, I'll probably say over the course of this show today, I can relate to this one. This one was so me, because really, in all honesty, I've had all of these at different times, right? So stories of lack. And what this looks like is you feel like you have a lack of time, a lack of money, a lack of resources. You probably feel on your own, alone, unsupported, right? You feel constantly blocked and stopped by not enough in some form or another. It's not enough time, money, resources, wherewithal, strength, motivation, inspiration, anything, right? Not enough. So what's happening here is you've been trained and gotten into the habit of focusing on the lack. So before I go forward, I want to say, first of all, just good job being brave enough to hear this stuff. Sometimes it stings to hear what's going on, but if you can relate, the greatest thing you can do for yourself is just, hear this with an open mind and know that I love you. I've got your back. I've suffered with this too, and we're going to get through it together, okay? So what's going on is you're just focusing on the lack that's around you. And that's really it, right? We see that we have not enough money, or we feel like we have not enough time, or, any of these things that we should be somewhere else by now. And we believe it. We believe it and we feel it and we focus on it. We see it over and over again and we go, yep, there it is over and over again. So really what's happening is you're believing in these stories of lack more than you're believing in the story of abundance and the story of flow and the story of your own success. So, what you need to do is focus on the enoughness that is around you and the abundance that's around you. So, what I did here is instead of saying, I'm a millionaire, which really doesn't work, I started to focus on the simple abundance around me. And I brought abundance down to its essence, like plants and flourishing and growth and life, right? So I started focusing on my house plants that were doing really well. And when it would rain, how abundant that was for the earth. And the fact that I did have a computer and an office space. And so I would focus on abundance in all forms, not trying to pretend I had more money or time or support than I had. But I started to notice what I did have. I did have a best friend that had my back. So I was supported by her. I did have enough to pay the bills, or I did have flourishing houseplants. Starting to focus on what is working tunes you into the abundance story and the enough story, and has the universe start to deliver you more things to feel abundant for or feel supported in, right? So it's really that simple, is starting to take your focus off the lack, off what's not working, and onto what is working. Okay, the next block is called spiritual go-getter block. This is block number 2. And holler if this is you. This is me, hand way up in the air. Spiritual go-getter. So what this looks like is you've read tons of books, you've done workshops or programs, maybe lots of spiritual and personal development. You have endless mantras and journals. You practice gratitude and affirmations and positive thought. You have dove in deep. You've done lots of work on yourself, yet you feel stuck. So what the heck, right? What is happening? It feels very frustrating. It feels confusing, probably powerless. You feel stuck. You feel in doubt, second guessing all this stuff, all the development, maybe that even the universe has your back. You compare yourself to others. So, okay, you're getting the picture, right? You've done all the things. You've had the mentors, maybe even coaching, and maybe even I've met people with this block that are Reiki masters, that are healers, that are coaches themselves, yet they still feel stuck. And if that's you, there's nothing to feel shameful for. This is, again, the way the human brain's created. You can be incredible, be very wise, be very helpful, but still feel stuck in your life in certain areas. Totally normal. So if this is you, what is happening, and this took me a long time to get, what is happening is that we are more in our head thinking about what we should do and what the next step is and the spiritual way to handle this and what process we need. And we're focusing on what we should do and what is happening and why we're stuck and what is going on and trying to crack the code. But what we actually need to do is practice being in the moment right now. Tapping into joy right now, breathing into it right now. All the stuff you've learned, all the things you know, feel it and know it right now. Getting in touch with the present moment instead of thinking what's going on here and what should I be doing and what's happening and what have I done to cause this. Just come to the moment. Practice joy right now. Intuitively ask yourself, what do I need instead of what should I do, right? You're feeling blocked. You want to call in money. What should I do? And what should I do? Tap into what do I need? What's happening here that I can release a little more? Can I choose joy right now? Okay, block number 3. This is called subtle negativity, and this is one that I can definitely relate to as well. So what happens in this one is, although you consider yourself a positive person, you have negative and sometimes sarcastic energy running through you. So you can have an awesome sarcastic sense of humor and not be having this block. It's not really about that. It's about deep down, you want to be positive and you would consider yourself a positive person. But what comes out of you sometimes when you're triggered is negative comments. You might hear yourself making a negative comment about work or the weather or a person or life in general, even though you don't consider yourself to be someone that would do that. So you want to be positive. You know, you feel that, but there's something inside of you that's hardened. You're not surprised when things fall apart or opportunities crumble. It's kind of like the universe has my back, although where the fuck is it right now? You know, like it's that feeling of, you know, being subtly negative. And this is one I can so relate to. And I sense this, I feel this, I see this in myself, even now, where I'll be this positive person, but then something doesn't happen. And I'm like, yeah, of course it doesn't. Or, you know, oh yeah, just another day, haha. Like it's like this subtle, sarcastic negativity underneath. So what it feels like is things don't work out always, despite your positive outlook. Sometimes it feels like the cards are stacked against you, like life is hard or people let you down. You're not surprised when that person lets you down or people let you down, even though you're a positive person. I've met many people with this block, like I said, including myself, hand up, that this subtle negativity is actually still within us. So Wayne Dyer has a beautiful quote where he says, you know, when you're squeezed, what comes out of you is what's within you. Actually, I don't even know if that's the actual quote because he has this whole thing he does, but that's the boiled down effect, is that when you're squeezed, what is actually within you comes out, which is why when we go through really stressful times, we can all of a sudden start drinking more or being, you know, fits of anger or slip back into addictive patterns. It's because there's a part of us inside that's in us. And again, that's okay. We're human. This is what we're doing. We're doing the work, right? We're softening the stuff. But it's in us. So despite your positive outlook, you can also feel like life is just hard and you're not cut out for this, or it never works out for you, or people let you down, right? So what we need to start to do is to be hyper aware of your language and don't give subtle negativity your attention. So does that make sense? It's like becoming aware of those little negative things you say and just becoming unwilling to let it go any further. It's like you witness it in yourself and then you just go, nope, gonna change the story there, or not gonna feed into that story. Don't allow the subtle negativity to take your attention for long. The game becomes, as soon as you observe that in yourself, as soon as you're aware of it, say to yourself, no, I choose again. I choose a more positive story. Or, you catch yourself kind of like, oh, I had the worst day. Like, of course, Mondays are always brutal. Or of course I have the worst day. Like, I don't even have any support. Or you hear these little things come out, right? And you go, I'm not going to focus on that. So what I'm going to choose to focus on is, it was a day and it's the end of the day now, and now I get to relax, or tomorrow's another day, or I'm still doing a good job. Even though today felt like it sucked, I am doing a good job. I am finding my way, right? So just trying to transform that subtle negativity. But the biggest part, it's not even about the transformation of the language. It's actually just not feeding it, not giving it your attention. So when someone's gossiping in front of you and you catch yourself starting to jump in, we're not helping her by judging her. Let's just stop. It's putting an end to the thoughts, the comments that come out of you that are negative, because you are a positive person. Your light is radiant. You know deep down that life is working out for you, but you've just had experiences and you've learned some things. So what we're going to do is not focus on the negative story as much and just try to, put a stop to the thought, distract yourself, go have a shower, or do anything you can to stop yourself. And then if you feel like you can, transform it into something positive. That's the ultimate, great result from it if you want to take it that far. But essentially, it's just not giving your energy to the negative thoughts, to the negative stuff, and it will start to dissipate. Okay, block number 4. And this is called the pushing block, which, again, I've definitely dealt with. This is for people often that have, they would say control issues or feel anxious. So this is what happens here is you feel like it's all you figuring it out, doing it on your own. And you may be wondering how you're going to do it. You might come across this all the time. Like, how am I going to leave my 9 to 5 and start a business? How am I going to, take that trip or move across the country? Or how am I going to find my soulmate? How is this going to happen? You're trying this, you're trying that, and it's not working out. You're stressing about the outcome and focusing on how, right? That's the big thing. So you either are realizing you're focusing on the hows and you go, yeah, that's totally me. Or maybe you don't realize you're focusing on it, but what you feel is a lot of pressure. You feel worry, stress, control. You feel like you're kind of micromanaging. You're going through immense effort. If I don't do it, no one will. You might be feeling like that. And anxiety, like I mentioned. So when things don't work out, often you get devastated, stressed, worried, and also feel like either a failure or what I'm doing isn't working, or I don't have what it takes. Like I planned out this big thing and it failed. It's thwarted intention. It's just not feeling good, right? So if you can relate to that, this is what I call pushing is you're trying to do it all on your own. And it's like you're white knuckling it, right? And what's happening here is you're not allowing the universe to co-create with you. And you've probably been just trained that you're on your own in this life, or if you don't do it, no one will, like I mentioned, right? And that's been ingrained in you. Maybe you had an intense upbringing that you were on your own, or somewhere along the line you were hurt and you decided to take matters into your own hands. And again, that was just the ego. That's just coping. I love you. You're beautiful. You've been doing such a great job. And now what you can start to do is release that white knuckle. Start to have faith in the universe. And what we're going to do is practice relaxing. Practice not having a plan. I'm not even just saying in life, but for the day, for the weekend, for the trip, like relax a little bit. Practice small acts of faith by delegating, in your life, or asking for help from family or friends, or getting a coach, like having some support and bringing in some help, allowing people to help you. Request help from your guides and your angels, depending on what your practices and your beliefs are. Is ask for help, ask for signs from the universe. It's like open it up. If you have, a grandmother or grandfather that's deceased that helps you on the other side, or angels or guides, ask for help. Ask for help in your life from the universe. Sort of relax those shoulders. It's not all on you. Use your intuition to navigate things instead of planning what I should do and getting really stressed and overwhelmed with it. This is what we need to do, is practice allowing help and support into your life in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. Okay, the final block, and if you maybe can relate to all of these, because like I said, I can. So if you can, then it's good. We're identifying what's going on, right? Why you could be feeling blocked. So block number 5 is called future tripping, and this is so common. So what this looks like is we get worried and consumed with what's going to happen in the future. What if this happens? What if this crumbles? What if this falls through? What if they leave you? What if they cheat on you? What if this trip becomes a mess? What if this money I'm investing, ends up being a scam and I lose it all? Like, what if? They're never going to like what you have. What if I don't sell my paintings? What if I don't find the one? What if I die alone? What if I can't manifest the money? What if I can't pay rent, right? This is so common. And this is just being scared of being rejected, being scared of failing. Again, it's our ego just terrified that it's all going to crumble. And when you worry, you project a negative outcome on the future, and you're acting almost like it's already failed. Like you're going through all those, things, bringing that worried, frantic energy into the now. Pretending almost like it's already happened, feeling it in your body, which is manifesting more chaos. It's manifesting more uncertainty and eventually failure, because you're projecting, what if this happens? What if that happens? You're going to start calling it in. So what it feels like is anxiety, worrying, suffering. Often we can't make a decision easily when we're in this place of future tripping. And oh my goodness, again, me. Sometimes I go, well, if I do that, then I do that. Well, if I do that, then what if that happens? If I do that, and it could just be be simple. It could even be like how I'm planning out my day. I'm like, well, if I write those emails first, then I'm not doing this. But if I do the post, then I might not get back to the person. But if I do, and it's like, oh my goodness, I'm just worrying about the future, whether that's in 2 hours or it's in my entire life. Worrying, can't make a decision, changing your mind, finding that things don't go smoothly. That's a future tripping block. And so what we need to do is we need to relax into the present moment. We need to come back to now and notice that life does work out somehow. Tap into the part of yourself that knows you're doing a great job, that you trust in how things are, that you always have figured it out, that somehow, you will find a solution, you will move through, you will navigate it as it comes. Hear your intuition telling you to be here now, to not worry, to show up and just trust in yourself, trust in the universe. Know that anything that's happening, it's either going to be successful or it's going to be teaching you something, or both, right? So either way, you're winning. Trust in what's to come, trust in the unfolding, in your own ability, relax into flow. Okay, so those are the 5 blocks that are the most common ones I see. Stories of lack, spiritual go-getter, subtle negativity, pushing, and future tripping. So really quickly, before I go, I'm going to take you through how you process this. So I want you to start to ask yourself, which blocks resonate with me? And write it out or think it out. How do these blocks show up in my life? And this is a great one to really go through them again, listen to this again, or go through the process with the guide, with the workbook, and really ask yourself, how do these show up in my life? And start to witness how you see them in your life. And then this is such a powerful question to ask yourself. Who would I be without this block? Bam, right? So think of the future tripping when you're worried about how it's going to happen and what the future's going to be like, and what if no one listens or no one buys or no one, is interested or whatever. Who would you be without that thought? It's like, whoa, I would be in trust. I would be calm. My shoulders would be dropped. I wouldn't be frantic. I wouldn't be worrying. I'd be chill. I'd be cool. I'd be in faith, right? So go through those blocks and ask yourself, who would I be without that? And then once you do that, you can ask yourself, am I willing to just let this whole thing go so that I can step into more ease and flow? Am I willing to let go of the future tripping? Am I willing to let go of the negativity that's popping up? Am I willing to let go of the idea that I need to learn more and do more and have more mantras and frantically find the solution? Am I willing to let go of those feelings of lack that I experience sometimes? Am I willing? Just am I willing? And then finally, what I recommend is picking a mantra. And if you download the guide, I have mantras for every single block we went through that will powerfully reverse the process. But pick a mantra that feels good. So if you are dealing with, say, the future tripping, you could pick a mantra of like, I trust in the future, or I trust in what is, or it will all work out, or just something that feels good, that kind of goes the opposite direction of what that block was. And repeat that to yourself. Remind yourself of this new truth. Remind yourself that you're willing to let it go, that no, I will, it will work out. Or no, I am supported. There is enough around me. This present moment is amazing, right? Pick a mantra, create it, and feel into it. Jazz it up a little bit. Remind yourself of it often. And this is how we switch up beliefs. This is how we literally get unblocked. We soften that resistance. We witness what's happening. We feel into the blocks that resonate. We identify them. We process them with the questions that I was getting you to ask yourself. Catch yourself as these beliefs come up and know that you can choose again. Witnessing it is the most powerful thing you can do. So if nothing else, just witnessing, that was a little bit of subtle negativity. That was a feeling of not enough. I do actually have that. And I am willing to let it go because who I am without this block is so free and so elevated and so magical that I want to step into her a little more. So I'm willing to let this go. I'm willing to witness it. I'm processing it. And I'm choosing this mantra, creating a mantra like there is enough, I'll find a way. I'm doing a good job. I trust in what is. I trust in the flow. And I use that to reinforce this new belief. And if you go through this process and you revisit these steps and you really practice, you will have a profound shift in your life. So I hope that this served you today, Seeker. I am so proud of you. You're doing such a good job, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey love, thank you for listening to today's episode. I really hope you got some incredible value from it. And if you did, pretty please head over to iTunes and leave me a review and hit the subscribe button. This really does make a huge difference in the success of the show. And it really shows me that you want this type of training, tools, techniques to hack law of attraction and have you manifest fast. Thank you in advance for that. And before I go, I want to remind you that there is a version of yourself that already has what it is that you want, already has the manifestations, already has the love, the abundance, the success, the freedom, the self-confidence, and everything else that you could want. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today is to envision her, embody her, ask, what's her energy about? What's her mindset like? And what advice does she have for me today? As you do this, my love, you awaken her. You quantum align, you collapse time, and you make yourself able to manifest the life you want so much quicker. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode.